cast of the show. Right now, Rupert Murdoch is in the news. You know, one of my favorite things to do was when I watch Citizen Kane is every time they say the hero's name, I substitute Rupert Murdoch in my head, right? And I love that the media is portraying this as a huge scandal, that Rupert Murdoch, the fact that he is illegally hacking into people's voicemails and that somehow he's going to be punished because he's not allowed to buy another multi-million dollar. He can't buy the controlling interest in another multimedia organization. I wish consequences work like that for me. You know, like I learned, hey, Jimmy, you just broke into someone's house and shot somebody. Well, you're not going to get to buy that Ferrari next week, young man. Yeah, that's how it happens. And I also love that Murdoch's company is coming under scrutiny for its unethical methods of getting at the truth. Shouldn't the bigger story been that Fox News method of just not telling the truth is I mean, so if it came out that Fox News was hacking into people's voicemails here in America, but they were doing factually accurate reports, I don't think people would be that pissed off.
They go, wow, they're actually aggressively pursuing news instead of passively filtering it.
Or just making it up, right? Which is what they do. But I think that what this really exemplifies is that no one is saying that this entire scandal exemplifies the problem of Western corporate structure, whose motto is do whatever you have to do to maximize profits and minimize costs, and do it every quarter or you're fired. And yes, you can totally breach ethics and break the law as long as you run the numbers and it's worth the risks.
Profits are moral.
Profits are moral. Greed is good. You don't believe me? There are 29 people who would still be alive today in West Virginia if Massey Energy hadn't run the numbers and realized safety violations were totally worth the risk. And what did Massey Energy get for its deadly malfeasance? They got bought out for $7 billion. There are 11 people dead who used to work at an office called the Deepwater Horizon. And in that office, the Xerox machine was always out of toner, and the blowout preventer was not up to spec. Still, I bet those employees would tell you that their stock options in Transocean were doing great right up until the moment they were blown off the planet. It's not even the people who create this problem that are evil. It's the shareholders. It's everyone with a mutual fund. It's you. It's me. The News of the World was doing exactly what it was supposed to be doing according to this corporate business model. Did they break the law? Sure. But until they got caught, everybody was happy. And, you know, Rupert Murdoch, let me just say, why doesn't he just go ahead and get the Nehru jacket and his cat and just start stroking it all the time? Just go ahead and commit all the way. Now, do you think there's going to be any ramification?
He's taking bids on cats right now. That's why.
Do you think that there's any I'll ask you, Frank, do you think there's anything that's going to happen to Rupert Murdoch of any consequence?
Well, the consequence today, the Emmys came out, and the Emmy nominated, and he's nominated for Best Phone Hacking. So, on a limited series. So, aside from what you said, he can't buy B Sky Network or whatever it's called. There's not going to really be any consequences for him.
Go ahead, Paul.
I think you hit the nail on the head. This is this is what Ayn Rand. This is what Ayn Rand gives you when you.
Yes,
corporations are allowed to do what they want. This is as bad as communism.
You know, someone said they did a study and a psychological study of corporations. And they act exactly like an amoral psychopath would act.
They're conscienceless. They have no concern about the future. They act only in their immediate self-interest. And in a lot of ways, they are their own worst enemy because they're worshiping of the quarterly bottom line to please investors in the short run. They often, as you see, like with the Big Three Auto, have no game plan for the long term, and they paint themselves into these corners.
Right. And, Robert, what do you think about the Rupert Murdoch?
I think absolutely nothing's going to happen to this guy. I think this is we might as well not even talk about the story because nothing's going to change. Exactly nothing.
You don't think, really?
I don't even think the players are going to change. I think like Rupert Murdoch is going to this is a little blip in his life, and he's going to go back to whatever. He's going to go back to being a Doctor Who villain. Yeah. He's just
a couple of people will take the fall. Everybody will forget about it, and then he'll go back to doing what he does. People like him are no different really than drug addicts that break into people's houses, they just do it on a huge scale. But because they have jets, for some reason, we don't.
You're right, Paul.
Treat them.
White collar.
He's addicted to money and power. It's so
to the point where he'll break laws internationally to do it and to do really nefarious stuff. So
right.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to weigh in. I think there is something that's going to come down. I really think they are going to be held accountable. I think his son is going to be tried for these crimes.
Really?
Yes. I really think in the UK, it seems like they are really, for the last 5 years, they've been investigating this.
Okay.
So
you think in the UK that he'll be brought up on charges?
Yes, but I think it's also going to touch his licensing, Murdoch's licensing in the United States. I'm weighing in now, fellas.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know now.
I sure hope that's true, but I think everybody below his family members is at risk for taking a fall. But
I do too.
I don't believe anybody in his family is going to spend a day in jail.
I just hope it doesn't lower the quality on the Fox News network.
I think that what's going to happen is they're going to arrest him. He's going to do hard time. They're going to split up his company into smaller companies, encouraging competition and bring some health back to the media in America. And I think we're going to write this course. That's my prediction. And,
how sad is it that that's been the funniest thing on the show? How sad is that?
I also think, it just occurs to me, too, that, if they can do this phone hacking, and, they're a big corporation and everything, I mean, and, the world is so wired in now, like, I'm sure everything that's being done is being eavesdropped on and being scrutinized, and, anyone who's
except the shows we produce that we want people to hear.
Yes, exactly. Except I'm trying to get my agent to get my stuff hacked, but he says I don't have the marketability for that. But so it just occurs to me that this kind of thing really happens a lot more than we let ourselves think about. Of phones being eavesdropped on and agencies looking at what we're looking at.
Well, I think
I saw Eric Holder, the defense secretary, in his last testimony. For some reason, he mentioned he couldn't believe the weird kind of porn that I'm into online. So that kind of worried me.
You know what? Actually, Bill O'Reilly called me, and he's got something to say about this whole scandal.
Jimmy Dore. How's it going? It's Bill O'Reilly. So, true to form, you and your little pinhead friends are going after Fox News and News Corp over this whole flap about Rupert Murdoch and everything. And hey, look, I got to defend my boss here. Technically, my boss's boss. This is nonsense, all this stuff about this voicemail crap. Let me explain something to you idiots. Your voicemail is not your private property, okay? You got no reasonable expectation of privacy there. Time was, back in the day, your telephone used to belong to the phone company. Now, that may not be the case anymore, but your voicemails don't belong to you because they're not inside your phone. Stored at the phone company. So they're not even yours to begin with, pinhead. So think about that for a second. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. You want to hear my voicemails? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Go ahead and listen to them. You'd be very bored. I'll give you the Gary Hart treatment on that. I got a couple of them in there. You hear, what do you see? There's one from my accountant. I dare you to listen to that. There's one from my boss, Roger Ailes, invited me upstairs to his office to work on a plate of pork shoulders with him. A couple of voicemails from Glenn Beck, just him calling and crying. I get those every week. And then there's just, maybe a voicemail from the guy that I get my loofahs and falafels from. I got a guy for that, Jimmy. So whatever. I mean, if these people have something to hide in their voicemails, maybe they shouldn't be hiding them in the first place. We're allowed to listen to other people. We're allowed to hack in. That's how it goes. Just because you're 13 and dead doesn't mean the news stops.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly's out of line this
week.
Hey, the news doesn't stop.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what your problem